She could talk so much she could wear a hole in an iron pot.
This week on iTunes, we'll play some roulette with radio, we'll kill your brides, don't worry, not literally, and we'll talk with acclaimed island musician Dennis Ellsworth, whose new album Modern Hope is out now. Yous ready, PEI? Let's get her done! Hello, Prince Edward Island. I am Adam Michael James, and you are listening to iTunes for the week of November 5th, 2023. We're on episode 13, which is actually considered a lucky number in countries such as China, France, Italy, Egypt. No triskaidekaphobia here. Also, happy Guy Fawkes Day if you're into burning things in effigy. And did you make your clocks fall back? I know, now it gets dark hella early, but if we never had daylight saving time, we'd never know the difference, would we? Since I am chronologically inclined, I admit I do geek out over recalibrating my many clocks, so I couldn't help dipping into the iTunes library of island songs to see if there was anything appropriate to this fallback business. The answer? Kinda, sorta. PEI-born Keith Carruthers spent nearly 30 years in the music business before laying down last year's debut album, Done and Dusted, with the help of our infamous Gone Haywire David Rashid, that is. What do you do when it suddenly gets dark at 5? You leave a light on, of course, so switch on Keith Carruthers, who lights things up as we kick off this episode of iTunes.
Well, I can't think about tomorrow or what's buried in the past, while my life remains in constant disarray. And I know that you're still hurt, I can see it in your eyes, and I'd do anything to take that hurt away. But I just can't find the reason, the source of your pain. Well, I know that it's been hard answering the call and not doing what the other people do. But when all is said and done and the final curtain falls, no one will have done as much as you. If I could only find a reason and make you smile again. So if you're feeling lonely tonight, I can be the one to make it right. If you're still waiting on my call, just leave a light on. You're still waiting on tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. So it's time that we start living for today. And I know that you've been broken, but that's all in the past. So it's time that we begin to find our way. But I just can't find the reason, the source of your pain. So if you're feeling lonely tonight, I can be the one to make it right. If you're still waiting on my call, just leave a light on. If you're feeling lonely tonight, can I be the one to make it right? If you're still waiting on my call, just leave a light on. So if you're feeling lonely tonight, I can be the one to make it right. If you're still waiting on my call, just leave
You got so many reasons not to sit and let the world pass you by. Sometimes you just feel like dancing, sometimes you just want to cry. You know there's no time like the present. There's really no time like the present. So don't be afraid to be alone with yourself anymore. You sit and you wonder just what it is that you have to give, and you forget to be happy, forget just to live. While the world around us is changing, don't spend so much time rearranging. You can't be afraid to be alone with yourself anymore. You know that it won't be easy to find peace of mind on your own, but you should always remember you'll never have to face it alone. When there's no reason, there's no rhyme. Just take it one step at a time. Be afraid to be alone with yourself anymore. 'Cause you got so many reasons not to sit and let the world pass you by. Sometimes you just feel like dancing, sometimes you just want to cry. You know there's no time like the present. There's really no time like the present. So don't be afraid to be alone with yourself anymore. All of us are afraid to be alone with ourselves, that's for sure. But darling, don't be afraid to be alone with yourself anymore.
Guernsey Cove gift to the island, Gordon Belcher, with No Time Like the Present from his 2014 Vagabond Minstrel album. That snagged a 2015 Music PEI Award nomination for Male Solo Recording of the Year, as well as included his Cradle of Canada, which was a top 10 finalist in the PEI Sesquicentennial Song Search. No Time Like the Present is not only a good philosophy, but it fits into this clock-changing stuff. Besides, if it didn't get dark early part of the year, we wouldn't appreciate those extended sunny summer nights, right? Right? Sean Lush is a member of the Mi'kmaq Heritage Actors, who perform traditional Indigenous songs along with telling traditional Indigenous stories. Rap is traditionally the territory of black MCs with a growing contingent of white ones, but it's a genre Sean seamlessly eased into, and he's released a gang of singles over the past few years. This is one of them, the thought-provokingly titled Clone Jutsu. FYI, Jutsu is a mystical art that ninjas rely on in battle. Who says music isn't educational? Sean Lush on iTunes.
I call myself a clone jutsu. Yeah, strapped to the right, that's a pistol. I'm taking a left, ain't no issue. I do it myself, I don't miss you. Do it myself, what's your issue? Yeah, shorty, I left with no issue. Taking what's mine, ayy. Yeah. Hoping I ain't gotta shoot. Ayy, yeah, shorty a baddie, I'll teach you all a lesson. You know I ain't playing, you know how I'm dressing. I rap in the moment and this is my blessing. I'm lost in the elements, my expression. Cause that's the impression. I'm 1 in 100, a dime to a crescent. You're 1 to a 10, but I be impressing. Like calling it holy, cause I be the blessing. Ayy, call myself a clone jutsu. Yeah, strapped to the right, that's a pistol. I'm taking a left, ain't no issue. I do it myself, I don't miss you. Do it myself, what's your issue? Yeah, shorty, I left with no issue. Taking what's mine, ayy. Hoping I ain't gotta shoot. Looking up at the sky, ayy. Don't think of time and it flies. Look at myself, ayy. Thinking it's do or die, ayy. Kicking like Sandy, chillin' the back, cause she got a patty. Hop in the whip, I got me a caddy. Adjust from the front, shorty a baddie, ayy. Breakdown time, yeah, listen to every single word that rhymed. Yeah, one more time, I'm in my prime. I cook up fine, yeah, what's my line? Yeah, activate my shuriken one more time. Yeah, like Sasuke, but my fam is fine. I've been living life, living so fine. Living through the grind, yeah, I'm taking what's mine, ayy. Call myself a clone jutsu. Yeah, strapped to the right, that's a pistol. I'm taking a left, ain't no issue. I do it myself, I don't miss you. Do it myself, what's your issue? Yeah, shorty, I left with no issue. Taking what's mine, ayy. Hoping I ain't gotta shoot. Call myself a clone jutsu. Yeah, strapped to the right, that's a pistol. I'm taking a left, ain't no issue. I do it myself, I don't miss you. Do it myself, what's your issue? Yeah, shorty, I left with no issue. Taking what's mine, ayy. Hoping I ain't gotta shoot.
Je m'en vais chanter une chanson qui est pleine de menterie. S'il y a un mot de vérité, je veux parler de la vie. Allons ma brune, allons, allons danser sur la butte. Allons ma brune, allons, allons danser sur le champ. Un tour qui est arrivé, un jeune qui petit devant la compagnie, puis d'autres choses et tout, je n'oserais vous dire, puis d'autres choses et tout, je n'oserais vous dire à tout. Oh, dis-moi donc Rosanne, quelle couleur portait-il, que jamais a-t-il pris, que je cours après lui. Rosanne me répondit, j'ai point vu la couleur, mais j'ai senti l'odeur qui m'a fait mal au cœur, puis d'autres choses et tout, je n'oserais vous dire, puis d'autres choses et tout, je n'oserais vous dire à tout. Quand j'ai parti de mon pays, c'était pour m'en aller en France. Quand j'ai parti de mon pays, c'était pour m'en aller en France. Je n'avais qu'un sou d'argent pour m'habiller proprement. Je n'avais ni sous ni haille. Je n'avais qu'un sou d'argent pour m'habiller proprement. Je n'avais ni sous ni haille. Quand j'ai parti de mon pays, c'était pour m'en aller en France. Quand j'ai parti de mon pays, c'était pour m'en aller en France. À la claire fontaine, m'en allant promener, j'ai trouvé l'eau si claire que je me suis baigné. le vois, je l'entends mon amant. Celui que j'aime, que mon cœur aime, oui je le vois, je l'entends mon amant. Celui que mon cœur aime tant. Sous les feuilles d'un chêne, je me suis fait sécher. Sur la plus haute branche, le rossignol chantait. Oui, je le vois, je l'entends, mon amant. Celui que j'aime, que mon cœur aime. Oui, je le vois, je l'entends, mon amant. Celui que mon cœur aime tant. La main gauche te démanche, c'est un signe que t'auras de ma chance. C'est que la main droite te démanche, c'est un signe que t'auras du bonheur, que t'auras du bonheur. Si je m'en vais chanter une chanson, c'est un signe que t'auras de ma chance. C'est que la main droite te démanche, c'est un signe que t'auras du bonheur. Allons ma brune, allons danser sur la butte. Allons ma brune, allons danser sur le champ.
Chuck and Albert singing about some pâté chinois or shepherd's pie on iTunes. If you were on the island in the aughts, you remember the posters plastered everywhere for the duo's energetic shows. Fittingly, this track comes from their 2009 album Énergie. Their repertoire is based on material collected by folklorist and historian Georges Arsenault. Chuck and Albert melded them with inimitable Acadian sounds, including feet tapping and spoon clacking, and the joie de vivre embedded in each of their works is infectious. Side note, no one knows for sure how shepherd's pie came to be known as Chinese pie in French, but one hypothesis is that workers on the Canadian Pacific Railway, who were mostly Asian, were largely served ground beef, potatoes, and corn because it was cheap. They ended up mashing that together and voila! Hungry yet? Coming up, a 1999 that has nothing to do with Prince. And Dennis Ellsworth, who puts out albums pretty much at the rate Prince did, talks about his latest one. Scott Parsons has been setting Black Island history to music for decades. His latest effort, 2022's The Gates of No Return, is no exception, and this track chronicles the saga of Paul Keogh, a Black Islander who was adopted off-island and came back to learn from an in-the-know priest who his biological parents were. When the father wouldn't fess up, Paul returned every day to interrupt his dinner until he did. But there's another reason I'm picking Father Please, even if it's a play on the word. Scott is performing a Remembrance Day show at King's Playhouse this Friday centering on his father, Ivan Benny Parsons, who took part in the D-Day invasion at Normandy in World War II. So it all ties together. Scott Parsons opening the Black Island history book on iTunes.
Father, please tell us what you know. I need to find my family. It was a long time ago, so why not tell us what you know? We will be here every day to interrupt your dinner by the way. So Father, please tell us what you know. Well, after a week, the priest broke down to the hospital in Charlottetown. A nurse took them to see a very old black lady. We will be here every day to interrupt your dinner by the way. So Father, please tell us what you know. She opened her eyes, said, my God, Benny Benz, he was your father, the old lady said. Was he black? Of course he was. You can thank the stars above. You've got his ways, his looks and charm. You've also got his strong right arm. So Father, please tell us what you know. I need to find my family. It was a long time ago, so why not tell us what you know? We will be here every day to interrupt your dinner by the way. So Father, please tell us what you know. Father, please tell us what you know. So Father, please tell us what you know.
Father Please from Scott Parsons. You're in the middle of another episode of isletunes. There's a ton more PEI music coming your way, so don't go away. When you watch Bewitched, what do you like to have beside you? A little brother, the neighbors, maybe a little snack. Well, if you're hungry for Bewitched knowledge, what you really ought to have by your side is the Bewitched Continuum.
In living color.
Filled with continuity observations from all 254 episodes, you can impress your friends with what the show got right and wrong. Its changing rules of witchcraft, and how many times Endora called Darren Durwood. Plus, this edition comes with an exclusive spell guide and an in-depth look at Tabitha, Bewitched short-lived spin-off from 1977.
You said your abracadabra.
Zap up the Bewitched Continuum in living color on Amazon, along with the original black and white version and Bewitched Continuations I, Samantha Take This Mortal Darren and Samantha's 70s, because
It's time you learned about witches.
isletunes F-bomb alert!
Hey, I'm Lawrence Maxwell, and you're listening to isletunes.
I needed to love you, needed to love you, needed to love you anyway. I needed to love you, needed to love you, needed to love you anyway. I loved you anyway. I loved you anyway. Sinking ships with these prescriptions, drinking mix with any depressants. Scarred these wrists with someone listen. Invisible sickness, keep it hidden. Are we kidding? Will this madness ever end? Picking up the pieces, going down the road again. Will this madness ever end? Picking up the pieces, going down the road again. I needed to love you, needed to love you, needed to love you anyway. I needed to love you, needed to love you, needed to love you anyway. I loved you anyway. I loved you anyway.
Dark days growing even darker. Hold up before we hit the bottom. I don't claim to be a martyr. Lately this life's been hitting me harder. Can I get a grip? It's killing me, eating me, taking every fucking piece of me. Going down, floating lost on the endless sea. Is a lonely scene, only thought that I'll ever see. In reality, tripping in a fantasy, wishing for a prodigal, but sentencing to bring us peace. All these afflictions, obsessions, addictions, no contradictions. You're coming on my addiction, make it a fiction, yeah. Case of distractions, a contrast of vixens, demons in my head screaming. Gotta get us out or we won't be breathing, yeah.
Will this madness ever end? Picking up the pieces, going down the road again. Will this madness ever end? Picking up the pieces, going down the road again. I needed to love you, needed to love you, needed to love you anyway. I needed to love you, needed to love you, needed to love you anyway. I needed to love you,
writer, producer, and audio engineer Kilbride, with his 2019 cut Love You Anyway on iTunes. As you may have guessed from listening, Kilbride tends to blend emo rap, psychedelia, hip-hop, and trap to create his sound. He's a big proponent of mental health, and a personal philosophy of his is that, quote, "we are all connected on a much bigger level than we can perceive in normality," unquote. Word 'em up, Kilbride. Now, what you're about to hear has been 28 years in the making. The quintet of Josh Levine, Kevin McPhee, Mike Slavin, Curtis McDonald, and Terry Bolter all cut their musical teeth playing in bands with names like Ripping Hammer, Pretty Girl Satan, and Barbie's Revenge since 1995. It might have taken this stew a little extra long to cook, but it's now being served up with the flavors of punk and hard rock coming together for your dining pleasure. These five are now taking a gamble on their debut album, 1999, spinning the wheel in a band they call Radio Roulette. Get ready for Smells Like Pain, which is about to harbinger an
iTunes Rock Block.
iTunes F-bomb alert!
Fuck you. Fuck you up. Fuck you.
Every time
whisper of silence. All is quiet and still outside. Trying hard not to wake up all the voices inside my mind. Tiptoeing over the surface, gotta keep all of this perfect. Keep going round in this circle, I can't take it anymore. Feel it rising up. Can you hear me? Anyone there? Can you hear me calling? All is burning up inside. Can you hear me? Anyone there? Can you feel the fire? Dying Vesuvius. Open all of the windows. Feel the burn of the blinding light. I have tried to contain it. For the truth, it may sting your eyes. Breaking up under the surface, telling you nobody's perfect. Keep going round in this circle. I can't take it anymore, and I'm losing all my self-control. Can you hear me? Anyone there? Can you hear me calling? All is burning up inside. Can you hear me? Anyone there? Can you feel the fire? Dying Vesuvius. I am Can you hear me? Anyone there? Can you hear me calling? All is burning up inside. Can you hear me? Anyone there? Can you feel the fire? Dying Vesuvius. I am
She's a volcano! Vocally, anyway. That's Angie Arsenault erupting with her 2020 single Vesuvius on iTunes. They call her Mama Songbird, and I think now you know why. If you want to learn how to bust out a song like that, you're in luck. She's a vocal coach who can help you improve your technique. Head on over to angiearsenault.com and see what she can do for you. Speaking of learning, school is in session, y'all. This is This Week in PEI History, and there will be a test on this material whenever I feel like giving you one. So be prepared. And this teacher doesn't like apples unless they're covered in caramel. November 3rd, 1889, Edward Palmer, who was premier of the island from 1859 to 1863 and was a staunch opponent of Confederation, died in Charlottetown on this date. November 4th, 1786, Edmund Fanning arrived from Nova Scotia to be installed as Lieutenant Governor of the island of St. John, replacing the then-current Lieutenant Governor, Walter Patterson. But Patterson refused to step down, claiming it was too late in the year for him to sail back to England. Just a little 18th century appointment denialism. November 5th, 2018, the first island-wide election was held since the passing of the Municipal Government Act the previous December, which gave all island municipalities the same powers. Coming up, exploring the haunted heart of island troubadour Dennis Ellsworth. PEI is full of place names like East Royalty and West Royalty. Now all hail Baja Royalty, who comes to us from the Bahamas and didn't only bestow us with music, she's also an artist, and her pieces have been shown in exhibition at the Guild. You can even obtain some as NFTs. Musically, you can take the girl out of the Caribbean, but you can't take the Caribbean out of the girl, as evidenced by the influence in all her songs. Owing to our shift away from daylight saving time, and because this is something many of us would like to see happening, this is Better Days, one of Baja Royalty's 2023 tracks on iTunes.
Finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. Finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. Evolution. Society has driven me to think that I'm weak. No energy, no memory or creativity. Gray cloud overload. I am blinded by the limitations set before me. A blurry vision, no provisions to the story. Gray cloud overload. Evolution. Finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. Finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. Evolution. Rough roads and potholes and zeros on zeros. Half full, half empty, and many broken bones. But finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. Finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. Rough roads and potholes and zeros on zeros. Half full, half empty, and many broken bones. But finally, we'd see some better days, yeah. 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 Finally, we'd see some better days, yeah.
Baja Royalty, Better Days, Isletunes. And really, there aren't much better days to go see some live shows here on the island. It's not hot anymore, but it's not so cold yet that snow will keep you from getting anywhere. And there's less bugs, my personal favorite. Maybe one of your personal favorites is putting on a show in the coming week. Let's find out. Thank you, Howie Mandel. Today's Sunday, November 5th, Radio Roulette and Supercar are with Ripcords at the Trailside Music Hall. Island songwriters in the round featuring Nick Donoff, Shane Pendergast, and host Megan Blanchard are at the Harborfront Theater. Thursday, November 9th, Karen Pyra has her album release at the Harmony House in Hunter River. Also that day, Island Jazz with Chris Corrigan and the Hounds are at Baba's Lounge, and Richard Wood is at the Trailside. Friday, November 10th, Keelan Wedge and Christine Cameron are at Harmony House. Irish Scots and Alan Buchanan, 150 years of island music celebrating PEI joining the Confederation, are at the Surrey Show Hall. Lady Soul is at the Trailside. Sticky Honey with Feelings are at Baba's Lounge. And Scott Parsons' Stories and Songs for My Father is at King's Playhouse. Saturday, November 11th, Route 225 backs up Annika from New Brunswick at the Trailside. Looking into next week, November 12th, it's Irish Scots and Alan Buchanan, 150 years of island music celebrating PEI joining the Confederation. It moves to Our Lady of Assumption Parish in Stratford. Also November 12th, it's Shane Pendergast at the Trailside, and also Leo Marchaldon and friends are at St. Andrews United in Vernon Bridge. November 13th, it's Brandon Howard Roy with Kylie Fox and Burry at the Trailside. November 14th, it's Christmas Daddy's fundraising concert featuring Catherine McClellan, Richard Wood, Ava and Lily, Lawrence Maxwell with host Jimmy the Janitor at the Guild. November 15th, Transmissions fundraiser for PEI's transgender and gender diverse community featuring Abby, Alicia Toner, Brandon Howard Roy, In Echo, Irish Smithin, Noah Malcolm, and more are at the Trailside. November 16th, Death Valley Driver with Edernam and Vortex are at the Trailside. And Island Jazz with Mark Haynes is at Baba's Lounge. November 17th, The Burning Hell and Lucy Farrell are at the Surrey Show Hall. Lightfoot, The Man and His Music featuring Nudie and Shane Pendergast are at the Trailside. November 18th, Dan Dwarin is at the Harmony House. Irish Scots and Alan Buchanan move to the Murray Harbor Community Center. Norder plays at Hunter's Ale House, and Irish Mythin plays at the Trailside November 18th and 19th. Now, as I promised, I have for you an island artist with a long history of creating songs that mix rock and roll, power pop, and alt country. He's recorded solo and with Haunted Hearts, and his work has made it into TV shows like Heartland and the film The New Romantic. He's made 10 albums since 2009, and his latest, which came out on October 20th, is Modern Hope, something we all need right now. He is Dennis Ellsworth, and he's here with me on Isletunes. Hi, Dennis. Thank you for taking a moment out. I'm fine. Thank you for taking a moment out to chat with me. I know you've got a slew of off-island promo shows coming up. In fact, you're out the door to head to the first one, right?
Yeah, I'm on my way to Fredericton area.
Okay, so it's my understanding that you began writing songs in high school. As a matter of fact, so did I. How did that lead to putting out your first record, and when did that happen?
Well, I was in a band in high school, so I wrote songs. I wrote lyrics for that band, and I was the singer, but we never actually released anything other than one song on a compilation, and that was it. Then we stopped. I moved to Edmonton for a while. I bought a 4-track, and I started making demos, but again, I didn't release anything until I joined a band called the Rude Mechanicals in university.
With so Todd McLean.
With Todd McLean, that's right. I wrote songs with that band, and we released 3 albums, and I don't know, I just kind of kept on. Once that band broke up, I kept on going. I put together a band when I was living in Toronto to play songs that I was writing, and we called ourselves Battery Point, which is where I grew up in Stratford area. So out of that band in Toronto, I released my first solo record called Chesterfield Dweller of the Year.
Oh, okay. So what year was that?
The album actually came out as Battery Point, in 2007. It was a very limited, very like handmade, very limited release. And then later on, when I moved back to Prince Edward Island, my father actually said, "This is a really great album. You should release it. You should make a broader release of this." So I did, but I put it out as Dennis Ellsworth, and it was called Chesterfield Dweller of the Year, and I think that came out in 2010, which actually is after Haunted Hearts. So Haunted Hearts released 2 albums, and then I finally put my 2007 record out as a solo album. Haunted Hearts was another band that I put together when I moved back from Toronto. We started in 2008, and our first record came out in 2009. And then our second record came out in 2010. And then we recorded a third one, but it never came out.
I was going to ask if we were ever going to see a third one.
Well, you never know. You might still. We still talk. We still play. Actually, we're playing a show in January.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to make a note of that.
Yeah. We're playing a Copper Bottom show on January 13th, I believe. There was a push originally during COVID to get back together, and we did write some new songs, but then it just sort of fizzled out again. Everybody's really busy, and it's a weird thing to do, to try to resurrect a band that nobody has thought of for a long time.
Well, I mean, you've got fans, and if you already have some recorded material, it's not like you'd have to go back into the studio for it.
No, we would. We recorded 17 or 18 songs around 2012, but the session got erased by accident. It was a tragic studio affair. So we had, and it wasn't that everything got erased. It was just that certain tracks didn't make it over on a transfer. So when we opened the session up, stuff like the kick drum mic was missing in the mix, or like the overheads were missing, and there was no way for us to really salvage it. So we just walked away from it and thought maybe we should try again sometime, and then we never did.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. Wow, that sucks that not all the recordings survived. You're very prolific. 10 albums in 15 years. That's territory approaching Prince. You also pulled a Prince in that your last offering was a triple album, Bound by Love. Prince was always trying to record triple albums. Now, 2 weeks ago, of course, you released your latest collection, Modern Hope. How is this album different from the rest of your catalog, and are there indeed themes of hope intertwining through it?
Oh, absolutely. The album's definitely hopeful. There's something about it. It feels like there's survival, a survival record or something, which is basically what we've all done for the last number of years.
Yeah.
And the songs were written in January, February, and March of 2022. And I think that once I sort of got a sense of a theme for the songs that I was writing, I kept it going. And I didn't do it consciously. It was just what was coming out. So, I do think that there is a lot of hope in the record. And to answer your question about how it relates to my other material, the way that it was recorded, the live off the floor aspect of it, it has a real feel to it, which I think is something that my earlier records had, because that's how the Haunted Hearts records were made. They were made all live off the floor, a band playing in a room, But this Modern Hope was the first record I'd ever made on the West Coast. It was recorded in Vancouver at what used to be called Mushroom Studios, legendary studio in Canada.
Oh, wow. As I mentioned off the top, you have several shows in support of the album happening in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Outside of the launch for Modern Hope that happened a couple weeks ago, on release day, are you planning any further PEI concerts?
Well, I am actually. I just announced one yesterday. I'm going to play a show at the Lower Montague Women's Institute Hall.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, on the 24th of November. As a boy, my grandparents, their house was right across the road from that hall, and my grandfather farmed the fields there, right next door to that hall. So there's like a real special connection to that land for me. So, and I've never really played a show there.
Well, Modern Hope is out now on CD and colored vinyl. That's really cool. So look for those on Bandcamp. I'm going to let you get on the road, Dennis. I'm profusely grateful to you for having you coming here on iTunes, especially when you've got so much going on.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Since we're living in a world where we can all use as much hope as we can get, I'm going to play y'all Modern Hope, the title track of an album I'm sure will have quite the impact in the coming weeks and months. Drive safely, Dennis, and keep in touch.
Thank you, I will.
Russia's planning missile testing somewhere off the Irish coast. Hearts are breaking every hour for Mother Nature's ghost. And some of us are wasting away trying to sort out what to post. Chances are the dreamers are still dreaming. We all know that's never gonna change, so I'm alright. I'm alright. Walking in the woods will keep anyone going broke. And if you frame your mind with something beautiful, you've got some modern hope. And chances are the damned are still complaining, and we all know that's never gonna change, so I'm alright. I went astray on the long and winding road. I played a spade when I should have played a heart. I spent a dark time in a room at the end of the world hotel. Oh well, I know I'm only passing through. All of us drifters like the clouds across the moon. Throw out all my things to hear the angels sing. Lay down, lay down. All the worry in your dusty mind, in your heart and the fear in your eyes. Let your ghost take the reins and ride till it fades from the night into day, into night. I got a sweet as honey woman, and she waits at the end of a dream, and her tears are the saddest river run, dark dark and wide, down the banks of my mellow mind, in the heart of the field, my eyes, let the ghost take the reins and ride till it fades from the night into day, into night. All the worry in your dusty mind, in the heart of the fear in your eyes, let your ghost take the reins and ride till it fades from the night into day, into night. From the night into day, into night. From the night, from the night into day, into night.
Pairing a new Dennis Ellsworth track with an older Dennis Ellsworth track. This double Dennis started with the title cut from his new record Modern Hope, and you just heard 2012's Dusk Dreams from his album of the same name. My selection of a song with dusk in the title was very purposeful. It brings the whole fall back with the clocks thing we started off with full circle. And I like full circles. I hope you liked this episode of iTunes. If you like me, you really like me, thank you, Sally Field, you can show your support for this podcast by heading over to Patreon. Here's the deal. You throw me $5 a month. I throw you expanded video interviews with the folks I talk with and sprinkle in some live exclusive performance footage here and there. You're welcome. And thank you to my current subscribers and future subscribers. It all happens at patreon.com/iletunes, and there's a boatload of new videos coming that will be posted soon. Hey, are you a band or solo act who wants to get your songs played on iTunes? That's easy. Just shoot me an email at amj@iletunes.ca or a text to 902-807-4250. You can leave me a brief voicemail there too. The same goes if you've got vintage PEI records you think I should play on the show, and by vintage I mean before 1990. Or even before 1980. Or if you know a catchy PEI phrase you want to record yourself saying, I'll open the show with it. This week's show opener was uttered by Gordon Cobb. I'm easier to follow than the foxes who run across the road in Stratford. Just look for iTunes on Facebook and Instagram. What do you know? I post links to where you can buy the music you hear in these episodes, and I'm sure all the artists would appreciate the love. If you like gizmos, then be sure to come back next week when I'll also take you on the trip. And I'll wrap with another PEI artist, the name of whom escapes me at the moment, mostly because that's a blank that hasn't been filled as of this recording. Musical contribution to the iTunes theme by Kayla McCauley and John Hashem. Show concept by Rocky O'Neill. I'm Adam Michael James, and if you're really triskaidekaphobic, no worries. Episode 13 is in the books, and 14 is beginning to form in the old gray matter. We realize you have a choice of podcasts and scripted series and movies and you name it. So thank you for taking an hour out of your day to listen to iTunes. You know the best way to spread a cold is by word of mouth. The same goes for making a podcast a household word. So get those words from your mouth to anybody you think would enjoy only music from PEI. I'm out of here. Be good. And if you can't be good at it. See you next week.